Welcome back to the channel, y'all. This is BrainFLoTv. If you've never been here before, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you are notified every time a new video goes up on this channel. Shannon Sharpe, man, let's talk about it. It seems like as the days go by, more stuff is being revealed, as things are being exposed, as the public passes our judgment. Everybody has a different take, how they feel about it, all that. Let me be very clear about what I think. I think this is going to be a 9 days and it's over with type of situation. It's very entertaining because the information is salacious. And then when you think about it, it's a young, fit, vivacious white girl. And I paused for a long time before I said white girl. And then you have this big King Kong black man and a little white girl. Big in body, big in age. Shannon Sharpe is 56, 57 years old. He's pushing 60. And allegedly when he met this white girl, she was only 20 years old. She's now 22 years old, right? So much has happened. And then with the release of all those text messages and her accusations and the lawyers trying to line up a timeline of when what was said and what happened, everybody is glued to their seats right now, right? We saw a picture of her. She's an OnlyFans model. That adds some more salaciousness to the story. Her cheeks are out, you know. It was put out there that by Tony Busby, who is her attorney, that Shannon Sharpe's attorneys will be trying to discredit her by saying that she is a OnlyFans model who does favors to men for pay. Well, that's kind of factual. She's an OnlyFans model and she does things, fetishes, for pay. Not just for Shannon, but for other men. That's how she earns her money. You know, I thought about it this morning and I said to myself, Shannon Sharpe was definitely not her only client, but he definitely was her lick. He was her big fish. Like, she spent a lot of time casting her nets and throwing the line and the hook out there, trying to see what she could come up with in this whole social media or this internet world, rather. Because, you know, pretty women with nice bodies start OnlyFans, and out the woodworks come men. Some of them have money. Some of them don't have money. Some of them are crazy in the head. And some of them are just sane, but they have kinky fetishes. Either way, she is able to capitalize off of that. And if you don't believe me or you don't know it, just go Google and look up how much money is generated annually by OnlyFans models alone. You will see some of them are making millions of dollars per year, right? So it's a very lucrative field. If you ask me, I'm super judgmental when it comes to that. So I kind of look at OnlyFans like it's prostitution. Because some of them actually leave the internet and go meet up with clients in person and they sell their services. If you're selling services for money, you are doing prostitution. If you keep it strictly on the screen, there's a thin gray line there, area where it's like adult entertainment kind of thing. So I don't know. But as it applies to Shannon Sharpe, damn. You know, it's sad to see men, highly accomplished men, especially black men. Black men have to work like extra hard to get to where every other race gets to. When every other race works hard and succeeds, black man has to work 10 times as hard just to be at that level and just to maintain that level. So I look at it like Shannon Sharpe, Hall of Famer, tight end, one of the best that ever played in the NFL. It's hard enough making it to the NFL. Then you make it to Hall of Fame. Matter of fact, a little FYI for y'all, Shannon Sharpe just inducted his own brother into the Hall of Fame. He welcomed him into the Hall of Fame. So their parents or grandparents or whoever raised them, if they're dead or alive, must be feeling so proud that those two brothers actually made it to the NFL, played professional football, made millions of dollars, retired, went on to bigger things. Shannon is making more money now today than he ever made in football, and he made millions of dollars playing football. Just to give you a ballpark figure idea of how much he is in the money. So congratulations to him and his brother for being Hall of Famers. But then you accomplish all this greatness and then you soil yourself like this. 57 years old, going after a young 20-year-old. It's not illegal. There's nothing wrong with it. There are powerful, or should I say A-lister, celebrity, Hollywood stars right now who are in their 70s, 80s, 60s, who are older than Shannon Sharpe, and they are publicly dating young 20-plus-year-old women. Nobody says anything about it. These old white men dating these young women. Two prominent Hollywood stars right now, one of them just had a baby with a pretty young 20-something-year-old woman. And nobody says anything about it. So why should we single Shannon out and say, oh, you just too old for this, Unc? You 57 years old. You 56 years old. You shouldn't be going after no 20-something-year-old. She is legal. It is the legal age. People might have their personal reservations about it. A man might say, or a woman might say, I would never want my daughter bringing home a 50-something-year-old man and she's only 20 years old. But if you look at the dynamics of the relationship between Shannon Sharpe and this young lady, this was no relationship that had a future in it. This was no relationship where they were going to get married and they were going to start a family and they were going to try to live happily ever after. This was obviously a relationship of convenience. You, Shannon, have the money and you are interested in my services, and I'll provide those freaky services and you'll pay the money. You'll pay like you weigh. He's a big boy, so he pays heavily. You understand? So with that said, now talk about the text messages. It is said that Shannon Sharpe's attorney released hundreds of text messages between Shannon Sharpe and this young lady, just so the public will have an idea of the line of conversation that they would have between each other. Because they, meaning her and her attorney, they are releasing snippets. Like they'll release something that might be incriminating to Shannon in public opinion. If us, the public, don't hear all of what was said, we just hear a little part of it. For instance, if I were to say, the guy over there, he said he likes when gay men are in my home. And that's the way he said it. I like when gay men are in my home. Now, if somebody takes that whole sentence right there and they chop off only the part that says, I like when gay men are in my home, and then they publish that to the world and say, hey, this is what BrainFLoTv said. I like when gay men are in my home. Here's the voice note. He said it. My voice note is going to say, I like when gay men are in my home. But I'm not playing the part for the public to hear where I was talking about the guy over there and what he said and the way he said it. So they're playing those kind of tricks. Tony Busby and the client, they're playing those kind of tricks against Shannon. So Shannon's attorney is like, release all the text messages so the world can see that you two were into some freaky shit. She's over there talking about, I want to be choked, daddy. I want you to abuse me, daddy. I want you to beat me up. I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me. And then there were times where she was like, I don't want to be choked, Shannon. I don't feel like I want to be choked. And then there were times where she was like role playing, I'm going to act like I don't want it and I want you to give it to me anyways. Kind of like simulated rape, right? Like, I'm going to take it and you're going to act like you don't want me to take it. That's going to be exciting. Those were the terms on which they were playing. Now, you got to go back to how they met, man. Shannon Sharpe in the gym working out, looks over, sees this pretty little young thing, strikes up a conversation. Next thing you know, she's at his mansion and he's busting it down. According to him and her, they made a deal when they first met. And the deal was that he was going to set up some kind of a fitness challenge. And if she was able to beat it, then she would win. And her prize for winning would be double breast implants, which he would pay for. However, if she lost, then I guess he get to hit it. And so she ended up at the mansion and she lost. But they remained friends and he kept her services. And according to Shannon Sharpe's attorney, as time went by, make no mistake about it, Shannon became a client of hers as well. She would charge him for services. So this wasn't no relationship where, according to her, she was being manipulated and she was so young and she was being hurt in any kind of way against her will and her wishes. This was quite along the lines of what she wanted, right? She had a freaky client that was willing to pay to freak, and he had a lot of money. And according to her, the part that's crazy is where she said she broke off the relationship because she thought that they were exclusive. She thought Shannon and her were exclusive. This was a monogamous relationship. How could you be a monogamous relationship when you're working on OnlyFans and you have clients, other men, and you're charging me for my services like you charge other men, maybe even more because they can't afford to pay like I pay? And then she talked about being recorded against her will or being recorded from some unseen angle, and Shannon taking those recordings of them doing intercourse and showing it to his friends. And the crazy part is she is the only one who has come up with recordings, video recording, voice note recording. We haven't seen the video recording yet, but according to Tony Busby, the sex tape is there, and the sex tape video will be shown to the jury in court. The sex tape that will be shown to the jury in court, Tony Busby says, is going to be very damaging to Shannon Sharpe because of what is taking place in that sex tape. The text message where she said, I begged you to put a condom on and you did not. I told you not to put it in my ass and you did. Wow. So with that, if it's taken out of context, it could spell trouble for Shannon Sharpe. Okay? Now, mind you, the relationship went on for 2 years. The crazy part about all that is she was ready to take the $10 million behind the scenes. I'm glad Shannon Sharpe didn't come out and say, I never offered anybody $10 million. That's a lie. He straight up said, listen, I did. I offered her $10 million behind the scenes to keep this out of the public, to just do away with it. Let's get back to regular life and do away with it. And I find it, the timing, super weird that as it was published publicly that Shannon Sharpe was about to sign a $100+ million deal for his Shay Shay podcast, that suddenly a deal that was struck between him and her over 2 months ago, before all this made it public, that they were working on putting together the 10 million, putting together the paperwork to finalize everything. But just a few days before, once that news broke that he was signing a deal for $100+ million, she suddenly decided, I don't want that $10 million anymore. I want to go public with this. I want $50 million or we're taking you to court. I can't help but to think, and everybody can see it, that this is a shakedown. Here's the part where things get dangerous, though. Black men can't do what white men do and get away with it in the United States of America. So we got to hope. We have to hope that the jury sees this case for what it is. See, because, you know, a lot of careers have been damaged just because a woman accused a man of something and really no proof was needed. So I think this could possibly turn out to bite Shannon Sharpe in the ass, to where he might have to pay that $50 million. However, I don't see a sane judge or a jury of a right mind frame awarding this as anything but a shakedown. For one, she's going with attorney Tony Busby. Now you got to remember though, although Tony Busby went after Jay-Z and it was proven that he was trying to do some okie dokie fabricated stuff right there, which I think his license should have been revoked for. He tried to get a New York license. That New York license application was denied, which was a good thing. But remember, he done this before. Tony Busby has done this before. Another NFL player, and Tony Busby was successful at getting that NFL player to pay out and settle some, I believe it's like 14 or 24 cases from this one individual who's an NFL player. So I think he thinks like, I've been down this road before. I know how to secure the money. Hey, we're not going for 10 million. He's about to sign $100 million deal. He's already worth 15 or 14 million as his net worth. You could get at least 50 million out of this. So they're going for the big money. Now, this is a strategy that they use, right? If they want 20 mil, they'll say 50. They'll say 50. Jury and the judge will say, that's too much. I think 20 is appropriate. They still walk away laughing because 20 is double what they were going to get in the first place, which we now know that Shannon Sharpe offered to pay 10 million behind the scenes just to make it go away. And just for the record again, so a lot of people know this, there are a lot of celebrities who have settled cases behind the scenes for millions and millions of dollars simply because they were accused of something, simply because they did not want their reputation to be soiled. They did not want their image to be soiled. They did not want their corporate sponsors to leave them. They did not want their movie roles to dry up, their opportunities that they had on the table to disappear. They did not want it to go public, not because they were guilty, but because this is a industry that nobody talks about. There are people out there who have become very rich off of getting to or getting around celebrities, moving in closely, and then accusing that celebrity of doing something like some sexual harassment or something. And they will tell them, okay, listen, I'll settle behind the scenes for $10 million and I'll sign an NDA and I'll go on with my life. And, the celebrity goes, okay, fuck it. We'll sign it. Take the 10 mil, go about your business. I'll go on with my life. Not because they're guilty, but because they have a lot to lose. So when you see celebrities move a certain way, like they move with security, or they're not too hands-on with the crowd that claims to be their fans and their well-wishers, it's because you can literally go try to hug somebody as a celebrity, and next thing you know, you have a lawsuit. He hugged me and he squeezed my titties and squeezed my ass when he hugged me. I was sexually harassed. And next thing you know, as that celebrity, you're in court. I want $20 million for pain and suffering, for mental anguish. I was violated. The judge orders you to pay them $10 million for a lie. They get rich. Your reputation is soiled. You are now labeled a sex abuser. You see what I'm saying? So Shannon Sharpe has a lot to lose if things turn out badly for him. Now, here's the thing about this, though. Most of Shannon Sharpe's money is kind of secured, okay? His millions he made from football and what he did after football, commentating with major news networks or sport networks, which brought in $1 million checks. Those monies are already invested. Those monies are already in the bank. Nothing's going to happen here that's going to leave him broke. However, moving forward, though, this might knock some deals off the table, but I don't think it's going to stop his Shay Shay show, which his podcast is proven to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So if he aligns his podcast with corporate entities and he's seeking corporate dollars, then yes. But if he continues to push forward with his podcast, this in itself might actually even be promotion for his podcast. At the end of the day, though, it's something that should have never happened. Shannon Sharpe should have been moving way better than this, knowing that he has so much to lose. And I just found out. Because, a lot of people are saying he's a big walking red flag because he's 57 years old. He has no wife. He has no children. I bet he's secretly gay, but he gets in entanglements with these women to throw everybody off. I just found out this man has 2 daughters and a son. I just found out he was married before and divorced. He has never made the identity of his ex-wife public, and he doesn't drag his family into the limelight. And you could see why. He wants to keep them protected. He wants to keep them away from all the stuff that comes with celebrity life. So here you have a man that has tasted marriage before, put his heart and soul into it, and he lost like so many other men. And so he has decided, listen, marriage is supposed to be for life. I remember him and Cat Williams talking about marriage and all that. And I remember Shannon saying marriage is supposed to be for life. I remember him and Nelly talking. And Nelly said marriage is supposed to be for life. Shannon was agreeing. That's why Nelly said he'll marry Ashanti, but he wanted everything to be the right time because he's not trying to get married and get divorced and get remarried. He comes from a family where there are a lot of people in his family who are married and they take marriage and marriage vows seriously. And he doesn't want to be the one to be married and divorced and getting hurt and splitting up the children, splitting up assets, fighting in court. He doesn't want to go through all that. And Shannon agreed. He said, it's one time for me, man. Married, it didn't work, that's it. So now you see him out here living bachelor life. I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't even think there's anything wrong with the age difference. Because if it's good for everybody else, why is it not good for him? She wasn't a child. She might have been way younger than he is, but she wasn't a child. She is an independent adult who is recognized as an adult. It's not like he was introducing her to anything new. She was very open about her sexuality and things that she loved. One of her text messages says, I want some rough BDSM shit. I want you to hurt me. I want you to choke me while you F me. That doesn't sound like some innocent 20-year-old who doesn't know how the world works, who ran into some older man who had money and power and fame, and he somehow manipulated her. This sounds like it was the other way around. It sounds like she found somebody who she could have a come up off of, and that's exactly what she's about to do. Again, the message of the day, this is not just for rich men or black men. This is for men in general. Y'all better start practicing some self-discipline, because one accusation can cause everything you've worked for to end up in shambles. And I'm sure you don't want that. For the ones who have money and fame and all that, you got to understand that you are a walking meal ticket to a lot of people. And don't think somebody is not going to try to get rich off of you, because they definitely are. We've seen it time and time and time again. Hate to say it, but you have to move different. You have to move different. This whole Shannon Sharpe thing, man, we're going to continue to stay close to it to see what happens next. And we'll bring you the update and our commentary. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. I'll catch you on the next video. It's BrainFLoTv. I'm out. Peace.